knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
Well,
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you. Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. Patrick Rooney is here. Let's go to your topics.
So last week, I think it was last week, that I was talking about the feds, the Homeland Security being Obama's, what did I call them? His troops, right? And I said that the Department of Homeland Security had bought 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition, right?
Right.
Enough to start have on hand for a war of at least, I said 30 years, I heard last week. I'm reading today, at least a hot war of 20 plus years in America. They could sustain that with the amount of ammo they're purchasing. And what I said, and you asked me, well, where are you finding this information? Is this legitimate? Blah, blah, blah. Well, lo and behold, I got an article in Forbes magazine. Yes, that Forbes magazine. And the title is 1.6 billion rounds of ammo for Homeland Security. It's time for a quote-unquote national conversation. And it goes back and it says where this stuff came from. It came from the Denver Post originally on February 15th, and it ran in the Associated Press. So that's pretty much everywhere. And the point of this article is to say, hey, there wasn't enough discussed about this. Besides this show and a few other places you see on the internet, you're not really hearing a lot about this stuff. And it's saying that much of this purchase order by the DHS was for rounds that are forbidden by international law for use in war. I repeat, much of this purchase order is for rounds forbidden by international law for use in war.
What does that mean?
That means you can't use this stuff in war.
So what are they buying it for?
I'm saying they're buying the kind of rounds you don't even use in war in certain cases. Okay? Let me see. Another thing is I talked about these armored personnel carriers, right, that you were showing us pictures of, Andre. This is real, and this is being reported again here in Forbes. This is not just a post somewhere. And I got a picture I'm looking at in front of me. These things are tanks. They're tanks. I mean, just look at them, they're tanks. They're called armored personnel carriers. They came from Baghdad, Afghanistan, and they're being basically changed over so they can be used on the streets.
And who are they going to use this stuff against? Against us, or?
They haven't answered the questions. They haven't answered who they're going to use it against.
Where are they storing all this stuff?
Places all across the country in rural areas.
Really?
Yes. There are pictures of that all over the internet. Now, they have gun ports on them. So they're not going to roll down the street for a Veterans Day parade. That's not what the use is, okay? They have gun ports. And the question is, and they can withstand IEDs, mine blasts, and 50 caliber hits to bulletproof glass. These are serious, very serious vehicles here. And they're asking the question, why is this?
And what's the answer?
I don't know. And if I say things, it'll be speculation.
Oh, right.
But we do know there's terrorism. I'll give you that. Okay, somebody could infiltrate the U.S. and go across our borders, which I said, if they were, why aren't they shutting the borders down if terrorism was the real threat?
I'm sure that's happening.
Plus, if people are going across the borders and they have a terrorist war, are they saying that they need ammo for a 20-year war on terrorists within the United States? Can you imagine that kind of? You think it's bad enough to live in the inner city with bullets flying around you from gangs? Imagine a hot war going on for 20 years with terrorists in the United States with the DHS. I mean, it'd be completely chaotic.
So, in your thinking, is it easy for you to believe they're doing this because of infiltration of terrorist people coming in, or they want to use this against the American people? Just your personal
My personal right-wing opinion is that I'm a little nervous about their intentions. And again, today's update is that this thing is out there at Forbes, and they're asking for a national, quote-unquote, conversation, as they always want a conversation about gun control. You know how the politicians always say, let's have a national conversation? The conversation usually involves them just saying, we're going to take more of your rights. It's one way, and they don't really care what we have to say about it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we have a gun control debate right now. We have a president and Dianne Feinstein and these folks who want to control our guns, yet they're buying a massive amount of weaponry for the Department of Homeland Security. They're also talking about a sequester and how much they have to cut, and they have to cut the White House tours. You can't go on a tour of the White House anymore. And at the airports, it's going to take us 3 hours waiting in line. All this nonsense, and yet, what happened to the sequester? They're spending all this money on these rounds. They never talk about that. It's you know how expensive it is to buy ammo these days?
I wonder why the liberal media is not reporting this either.
Well, yeah, it's not. And there's an interesting story, a quick story I could tell by Professor John Lott, who's More Guns, Less Crime. He did the book. And he said that he met Obama at the University of Chicago Law School. And Obama came up to him, and when they were introduced, he said, I don't believe that people should own guns.
Well, I don't think
just a flat-out statement. I don't think people should own guns.
Yeah.
And then when he said, "Oh, maybe we could talk about it at lunch sometime," and he just grimaced and walked away. Didn't want to talk about it.
Amazing. Let's go to the business phones. 888-775-3773 down to San Antonio, Texas, and talk to Mike. Mike, welcome to the show, sir.
Hello, gentlemen.
How
Hello,
you doing?
Mike. Long time.
Patrick, thanks for saying what all those right-wingers really feel in our gut. I think there's a word that I keep hearing that kind of explains it more. There's a kind of a quickening where you kind of know that you know, even though you may not have all the empirical evidence.
Right.
I think. What do you think? Maybe we should concentrate. I know before we concentrated 90% of the time on the national elections and things. Maybe it should be reversed and concentrate 90% of our efforts on the local. Find out where our sheriffs stand. Make sure that they support not taking our guns and our rights from us. Make sure that our National Guards, our local National Guard, our state National Guard, and maybe even educate the DHS, because I think those are some decent people too. They just want to do a job that they're supposed to do, but educate them on, hey, you have a constitutional obligation not to do this, so that we don't have this situation where he's trying to basically just bully us as American people.
Right.
What do you think about that maybe stratagem?
I think it's great, but I would not give up on the dramatic factor of change that can happen through the Senate and the Congress. I'll give you something real quick. Janet Napolitano needs to be called on the carpet the way that Eric Holder was by Senator Cruz. And that can happen. Put a little pressure on there. We could have Darrell Issa or Michael McCall, who's the chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security. They could summon Janet Napolitano, have him sit in front of them and answer questions. Why do you need 1.6 billion rounds? Why do you need so many sniper rounds? Why do you need these bullets that aren't used in target practice? Why do you want to are using tanks, essentially tanks, to go through the streets of America?
Not going to happen.
No, it could happen.
No.
If these senators...
I said it's not going to happen.
Why
he
not?
got away with Benghazi. He couldn't get away with that.
Listen, the Senate has already brought Eric Holder and grilled him.
That doesn't mean a thing.
It has value. It has value in weakening the way that the leadership is looked at.
Don't believe it.
It has value.
They also brought him forward about the Benghazi thing, Fast and Furious. They got nowhere. I'm
going to tell people a number here. They can call Darrell Issa's office, 202-225-3906. That's 202-225-3906. Michael McCall, office, chairman of the House Committee of Homeland Security, is 202-225-2401, 202-225-2401. Jesse, we have to do something.
And say what to them?
And tell them we want Janet Napolitano to be sitting in front of a committee and ask her, why is she buying those rounds? What is the purpose of those? Why has she gotten those tanks and retrofitted them from Iraq and Afghanistan? What is the purpose of this?
Tell them that the weapons of war have no place on our streets.
Absolutely. But ask the question and make her answer it.
Yes.
Patrick, Patrick, I get that, and I think we should do all that. But I guess the frustration is like with Paul, the caller from, Georgia. Nothing happens to these people,
Right.
and I guess we kind of already know why. Let's be honest. Anything short of walking in these folks' offices by some of the generals and trying these folks for treason, that's what needs to be done.
Mike.
Because these people are treasonous.
Mike, I totally agree, by the way, because of time here, with the local strategy. Counties and even states, sheriffs is a great strategy. I'm just saying don't give up on this theater also of pushing these guys in front of the American public.
Thank you, Mike.
I can concur with that. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Back in a moment.
I'm tired of just sitting here.